All right, it's 7 o'clock. We'll call the regular city council meeting to order. Please join me in a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we got a pretty large agenda this evening, so we'll try to move through as quickly as possible. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Haderlein. Present. Schulz.
Here.
Lavallee.
Here.
Carncross.
Here.
Lancaster.
Here.
Gorman.
Here.
Perkins.
Present.
Leone. Here. Quorum is present, Mayor.
All right, thank you. We noted that no one actually signed up to address the council, but we want to make sure everyone has an opportunity. If you didn't see to sign up, is there anyone that wishes to address the council for any item that's not on the agenda? Seeing none, we will close the public comment portion and move on to item number 4, the consent agenda. Consent agenda 4A through 4K. Is there any item on consent agenda that City Council wishes to remove from the consent agenda?
Item number K.
All right, item 4K, we'll move to item 5. Is there any other items council wishes to remove from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I'll accept the motion to accept the consent agenda 4A through 4J as presented.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda, items 4A through 4J.
Second.
I have a motion by Haderlein, seconded by Perkins. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderwoman Haderlein.
Yes.
Schulz.
Yes.
Lavallee.
Yes.
Carncross.
Yes.
Lancaster.
Yes.
Gorman.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Leone. Yes. All ayes, motion carries.
Okay, item number 5 is formally 4K, sanction mayor's approval for Mike Gresham as chairman of Planning and Zoning Commission. Alderman Perkins?
More just a clarification about that because it said sanction. That's why I was wondering, usually when we sanction something, something happened.
Yes, I appointed Mike Gresham to the chairman of Planning and Zoning Commission because we needed a chairman to conduct the meeting at the beginning of the month. And so he graciously accepted that. I did not get a decision of who would accept that before the December meeting. So in order to make that meeting go forward, we went ahead and appointed Mike to that position. And sanction simply means that you are formally approving that appointment.
All right. Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Schulz, second by Carncross, to approve the sanctioning of Mike Gresham to the commissioner, chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Schulz.
Yes.
Lavallee.
Yes.
Carncross.
Yes.
Lancaster.
Yes.
Gorman.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Leone. Yes. Haderlein.
Yes.
All ayes, motion carries.
All right, thank you. Item number 6 is the payment of the bills. Seek a motion to approve the payment of the bills in the amount of $688,985.69.
Make a motion to approve payment of the bills in the amount of $688,985.69.
Second.
Motion by Haderlein, second by Perkins. Comments, questions here? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Lavallee.
Yes.
Carncross.
Yes.
Lancaster.
Yes.
Gorman.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Leone. Yes. Haderlein.
Yes.
Schulz.
Yes.
All ayes, motion carries.
All right, thank you. Item number 7 is the Planning and Zoning Commission appointment and oath of office. Seeking your approval to my recommendation to appoint Hector Sandoval to the Planning and Zoning Commission to fill Jim Carbonetti's unexpired term, which I believe expires in 2029.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Carncross, second by Haderlein. Any comments or questions here? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Carncross.
Yes.
Lancaster.
Yes.
Gorman.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Leone. Haderlein.
Yes.
Schulz.
Yes.
Lavallee.
Yes.
All ayes, motion carries.
Hector, if you could come forward for swearing in. All right, thank you, Commissioner Sandoval. Moving on to item number 8 is the Planning and Zoning Commission removal of Commissioner and appointment oath of office to fill the vacancy, seeking your action to approve my recommendation to remove Ian McCafferty from the Planning and Zoning Commission and appoint Joshua Licht to fill the unexpired term.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Schulz, second by Carncross. Any comments or questions here?
Is the reason why, because I think I heard because Ian wasn't showing up for the last 14 meetings that they had?
Yes, sir, that is correct. He's missed 14 meetings, yes. And it makes it difficult to make sure we have a quorum if someone else needs to be away, so. All right. We have a motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Lancaster,
Yes.
Gorman,
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Luna. Yes. Haderlein,
Yes?
Schulz,
Yes.
Lavallee,
Yes.
Carncross.
Yes.
All ayes, motion carries.
Joshua? All right, thank you, Commissioner Licht. We will then move on to item number 9, which is the Illinois Trust Resolution. Recommending a motion to approve the resolution regarding compliance with the Illinois Trust Act.
Make a motion to approve the resolution regarding compliance with the Illinois Trust Act.
Second.
I have a motion by Haderlein, second by Lancaster. Any comments or questions here?
Just a quick question. Are we going to be doing resolutions for every state law that Illinois passes from now on that we have to abide by?
No, Alderman, that's not my intent. However, an alderperson did request that we create this resolution, and so I put it forth to the council to approve it.
And I will provide some clarification. I asked for the city to pass a resolution as I think I made some comments at the November council meeting, and 1,400, more than 1,400 undocumented migrants live in Harvard according to the last census. That's a significant amount of our population. Additionally, over 70% of the children in our schools are from immigrant families. And I think, as we've seen this past week, even today in Crystal Lake, there were raids at businesses. I think it's important that we not just follow the state law, but that we, as the city of Harvard, which is the only majority-minority community in McHenry County, that we send a message to our residents that this is, in fact, the law, and this is what we are following. We have had, as some may have seen, a county sheriff indicating that he does not agree with the law and sort of sending a potential message to people that, hey, maybe this isn't so important, but I think it is an important law. It was signed into law by Governor Bruce Rauner in 2017, and affirming for our residents, all residents, that this is, in fact, the law in Illinois, and that we are in full compliance and will remain in full compliance with that in Harvard. I think it's important. So thank you for your consideration.
Any other comments by council? Is there any comments from the public that wishes to speak on this issue? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Gorman.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Luna. Yes. Haderlein.
Yes.
Schulz.
Yes.
Lavallee.
Yes.
Carncross.
Yes.
Lancaster.
Yes.
All ayes, motion carries.
All right, item number 10 is Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation to approve a conditional use permit per section 14.3 of the UDO Development Ordinance. Seeking a motion to approve an ordinance granting a conditional use permit to David Drehobel, make sure, I think that may be the correct pronunciation, Dressico Farms LLC to operate a cannabis dispensary and cannabis consumption lounge at the property located at 1500 South Division Street in Harvard, Illinois, 60033.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Carncross, second by Perkins. Any comments or questions from the city council? Any comments or questions from the public? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Perkins.
Yes.
Luna. Yes. Haderlein.
Yes.
Schulz.
Yes.
Lavallee.
Yes.
Carncross.
Yes.
Lancaster.
Yes.
Gorman.
Yes.
All ayes, motion carries. Ordinance 2025-101.
All right, thank you, clerk. Item number 11 is the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation to approve a conditional use permit per section 14.3 of the UDO ordinance, UDO Development Ordinance. Your motion is sought to approve granting conditional use permit to Adrienne Arismendi, HPS, to permit powder coating and other automobile-related services at the property located at 10 South Jefferson Street, Harvard, Illinois, 60033.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Carncross, second by Schulz. Comments or questions from the council?
Is this the same location where we had some issues with junk vehicles being stored outside?
Yes, it is, but we've enforced that rule several times and even approached the landlord, and they are
Okay.
now in compliance.
Okay, but is this the same,
Not the same, it's the building, it's the room, or
It's
the
the-
office
it's
next to it.
next to it? But
Yeah.
so it's the same building, but it's a different
Correct.
business and, okay. Okay, just wanted to make sure I had the geography right. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from council?
I do have one. Is Adrian here?
If you could come to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Adrian Arizmendi, 4703 Blue Jay Road.
So the only question I had, because I know the planning and zoning asked you the question when I was reading the minutes, and you didn't know anything about the fire suppression. Have you figured that out yet?
Yeah, as far as I can tell, there was no specialized suppression system besides your standard fire extinguishers. If there was any eruption or anything, according to the SDS sheets, you can use water, regular foam, and ABC chemical fire extinguishers.
All right. So, and then I know with like Donavan, they're gonna make sure that whatever fire suppression system that needs to be in there, just fire extinguishers, or if you need something more.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. He did send us the safety data sheets on the product that they're using. It's not totally clear whether a fire suppression system will be required by the fire code. So we've asked our outside plan review firm just to opine on the matter, because there is a section within the SDS sheet that states if fine dust is collected, it could be combustible.
Yes.
So that's what we want to verify, and they did agree that they would install the necessary protection if required, so we'll make sure that that happens.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other comments or questions from council? Any comments or questions from the audience? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderwoman Haderlein,
Yes.
Schulz,
Yes.
Lavallee,
Yes.
Carncross,
Yes.
Lancaster,
Yes.
Gorman,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Luna. Yes. All ayes, motion carries. Ordinance 2025-102.
Thank you.
All right. Congratulations, and we look forward to seeing new business in Harvard. Item number 12 is the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation to approve the UDO text amendment to Section 2.3 to include definitions of cannabis-related uses. Recommendation is for a motion to approve the UDO text amendment to Section 2.3 to include definition of cannabis-related uses.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Carncross, second by Lancaster. Any other comments or questions? Any comments or questions from the audience? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Schultz,
Yes.
Lavallee,
Yes.
Carncross,
Yes.
Lancaster,
Yes.
Gorman,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Luna. Yes. Haderlein.
Yes.
All ayes, motion carries. Ordinance 2025-103.
Okay, item number 13 is Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation to approve the UDO text amendment to include anti-monotony standards. Your motion is, we're seeking your motion to approve ordinance amending Section 8.3H of the Unified Development Ordinance to include anti-monotony standards.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Perkins, second by Carncross. Comments or questions from the council on this?
Just happy to see this. Thank you all.
Any comments or questions from the audience?
I know we have a couple of local developers here. Tomasz, Michelle, if you want to speak, this would be the time to.
Michelle Platt, Foxtail Properties, 9211 Fink Road. My understanding is it pertains to the garage on the front of the house for this? Or is it just so that everything's not the same, all the houses aren't the same?
This is, so the houses aren't all the same. I think what you're referring to is a snout house. I don't believe that's in the same ordinance, is it, Donavan?
It is.
It is, but it's only 50%. It's not, you can still kind of have a bump out, but not as big as like my subdivision, my garage is at.
That's way out in
Yeah,
front.
Country Brook.
Our intention when we went through this was to reduce a little bit of the overextension of the garage coming out to where basically from the street view, all you see is a garage and then a little bit of a house.
Right.
To try to reduce some of that, but we also wanted to word this in a way that Donavan and the building department has some flexibility to work with this.
Right.
Because we didn't want to make it so stringent that it made it either too expensive, prohibitive, or impossible to build homes on the lots that we've got. So
Right.
you've got a little bit of wiggle room with them, but the other side of it was so that we don't have the exact same house just side by side. So there's going to be some changes, but we kept it in mind that it's not going to be excessive structural changes to the home.
Right.
A lot of it's cosmetic, so
Okay.
that way it's not going to create major problems. You can,
Well, yeah, because on some of mine, they stretch out like 13 feet, so you know, if you're coming up this side, you're going to see the porch. If you come up this side, you're going to see garage.
yeah, some of that's, we're not eliminating it entirely, but we're trying to make it a little, we're trying to find a happy medium
Mhm.
where the new homes are not all garage in the front, but also keeping in mind that we didn't want to make it cost prohibitive where you're having to create an entirely new, floor plan for every
Right,
single
because that's what
home.
I'm concerned about. I mean, because all of the ones that I build are, the garage is bumped out in the front. Because in Turtle Crossing, I mean, you've got some lots are 66 feet, you've got some that are 99, but, you can't put extra space on there to move the garage off to the side or,
Yeah, so-
or
Donovan,
even
you wanna
on the side
clarify that
draw.
with the HOA stuff that you guys put in there?
Well, they don't have an HOA in Turtle Crossing, but I just
Correct.
want to read this section, Michelle, that varied front facades where the garage does not dominate more than 50% of the front facade or is set back from the main entrance. So with your homes in particular, I don't know the width of your homes, if they're 55 feet and you have a 24-foot wide garage.
Right.
So that would be in compliance because it doesn't exceed more than 50%.
Well, the tri-level is 45 feet with, so I guess it would be around 50%.
So
You
when
know.
Michelle and I met about this, they're, like you had mentioned, they already have model homes that the city has approved, and it would cost her tens of thousands of dollars to go back and redesign all those. So if there's a happy medium where in new subdivision this takes place, they just bought a bunch more lots in Turtle Crossing, so
Yeah, because
Or-
we have a total now of 25 lots in between Turtle Crossing and Oak Grove Crossing yet to build, and to go back and restructure all these houses on some of the lots, it wouldn't work because they're pie-shaped.
And
It
with
would-
the width of the tri-level being 45 feet, is your garage 22 feet? Because that would still meet the ordinance.
Yeah. We do a little 4-foot bump out, but it's set back far another 2 feet, so back farther, on that bump out that we do, just for extra storage space. But it's set back 2 feet from the front of the garage.
Right, and I think, if
So-
I recall, because we went round and round with this, with the definition of the width of the garage is measured from the edge of door to the edge of door. So I think that bump out wouldn't,
It would, yeah, I wouldn't.
I think we're good there.
I would say that once we have everything in place and it's written, meet with Donavan so that way you can just double check to make sure everything's in accordance. I mean, if we're off by like an inch or something like that, I can't. We tried to word this so that Donavan does have a little bit of flexibility and it's not so rigid that, 6 inches one way or the other is going to force you to scrap an entire floor plan.
Right.
Because we were trying to keep this in mind that we also don't want to make it impossible for developers to work with it. So
Right.
that was our goal.
Along those same lines, as part of the UDO, like variances can be requested. So if there's a situation that you bring forward and the council believes that it qualifies for a variance, like that can also change it as well. So just to keep that in mind.
Okay.
As written, the ordinance says to create a welcoming streetscape design should incorporate varied front facades where the garage does not dominate more than 50% of the front facade or sit back from the main entrance.
Okay, I think we should be okay then, so, all right, thank you.
Tomasz, did you want to address council?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, anyone else wish to address council on this issue?
What is that?
All your permits before the ordinance was adopted.
All right, hearing no more comments, then clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Lavallee,
Yes.
Carncross,
Yes.
Lancaster,
Yes.
Gorman,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Luna. Yes. Haderlein,
Yes.
Schulz.
Yes.
All ayes, motion carries. Ordinance 2025-104.
Okay, thank you. Item number 14 is the Infrastructure Committee's recommendation for IDOT roadway resurfacing, installing of wider 5-foot sidewalk landscaped island pump outs. Seeking your motion to adopt the resolution for roadway resurfacing and installation of wider 5-foot sidewalks, landscaped island bump outs.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Schulz, second by Carncross. Comments or questions here from council?
Can you make the record known where this is going?
So this is the STP grant that we're applying for, and it'll cover from Front Street down Diggins to Sumner, and then from Sumner across to 14. This particular spot, mentioning like the bump outs, is there on Sumner.
That was for the public, so they know.
This wouldn't be till 2028, is that right? Roughly?
Phase 1 engineering starting next fiscal year.
Engineering next year? Okay.
64. You'll see it in the budget.
All right, no further comments, questions, council? Anyone in the audience wish to comment on this? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Carncross,
Yes.
Lancaster,
Yes.
Gorman,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Luna. Yes. Haderlein,
Yes.
Schulz,
Yes.
Lavallee.
Yes.
All ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 15 is MOU, Drinking Water Technical Assistance, seeking your motion to approve the memorandum of understanding concerning drinking water technical assistance.
I make a motion that we approve the MOU drinking water technical assistance.
I got a motion by Gorman, second by Schulz. Any other comments, questions from council here?
I'm wondering if Alderman Gorman could give, for the benefit of our audience at home, a short description of what this is for. It helped me a lot this afternoon to understand.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Thank you.
This came on us pretty quick because it's a recent opportunity, but if everyone remembers the paver system where the company came in and we had a grant and they, used laser beams on the sidewalks and all that sort of thing. And that was very helpful to us because it gave us data that we could use to plan for the future and what we're going to do with the roads and so on. Well, this is a similar thing that has to do with our sewer system and water too.
Yes.
Water too, where a company's going to come in and give us technical assistance at no charge to us. Although that may be in question now, this is a federal grant, right?
It would be a federal grant, and that is a possibility, but, we're assuming that we're going to proceed as
Well, yeah,
we
you have
expect.
to, but anyway, that's what it's for, and the data then we can use for planning purposes and long-range planning and budgeting and so on for our water and sewer systems.
Yeah, and one of the things I thought was interesting is getting a better handle on where the issues of infiltration into the sewer system might be more prevalent so that it can help prioritize where we spend resources on doing tests, smoke tests, I think, to check that. Does that sound right?
So in a nutshell, we know that our sewer system, sanitary sewer system, has what's called I&I, infiltration and inflow. And the infiltration would be from cracks within the pipework. Inflow would be from people who have like drainage towels plumbed into the sanitary sewer system. We know that we have a large amount of this because every time we have a rain event, we actually clean twice as much water as we pump. And that just costs taxpayers money because we're treating water that we don't need to treat. And so trying to prioritize within the system where those issues are is important so that we can try and reduce the amount of unnecessary groundwater that we are treating. And so the city had an opportunity to apply for a grant that would get this technical assistance to help us identify those areas within the system.
And just for the record, sorry, Mayor, the grant is coming from the IEPA, just so our listeners also know.
This is through Delta Institute in Chicago?
Correct.
And hopefully this doesn't get kicked out for being too woke.
Well, that remains to be seen. Any other comments or questions? Any comments or questions from the audience? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderwoman Lancaster?
Yes.
Gorman?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Luna?
Yes.
Haderlein?
Yes.
Schulz?
Yes.
Lavallee?
Yes.
Carncross?
Yes.
All ayes, motion carries.
Thank you, clerk. Item number 16 is the Infrastructure Committee recommendation seeking your motion to approve the Air Street 2025 road project.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Schulz, second by Lavallee? Yes. Yeah, he hasn't made a motion in a while. Any comments or questions from,
I have one.
yes,
I know I'll probably get voted down, so my recommendation, but first, the reason why I'm voting no is because the people voted for 1% thing, they want roads, not just the main drag. So that's the reason why I'm voting no, about doing other things. I'm for if we go for this bond that we've talked about. But, so my recommendation for this Air Street, and I did talk to Lou, and he mentioned now, because at the beginning, Gary did not have anything about the pavers inside the roadway on Air Street, and those have all sunken. But I guess you guys are looking into that, but I also mentioned to Lou, when I talked to him, maybe see which one's cheaper, see if you can actually just fill that in with not brick, concrete, and then stamp it with, and make it brick looking. Because that probably might help longer than having sunken bricks. So that's just my recommendation when this probably will get passed. Just to look into that and make sure.
Do we have any idea of what the cost of that would be? I mean, I absolutely understand what Matt's saying, because those bricks will just sink in over time, and again, they're gonna need it again and again and again, so maybe it would be better to just stamp that concrete instead of,
Yeah, it's so much better nowadays how they do it.
We can look into what the
Yeah.
cost of that is.
and we have money left over. It was only $605,000 budgeted for the
Well,
Air
keep
Street.
in mind, what you're discussing tonight is the resurfacing
Oh,
of
yeah.
Air Street.
Right.
And all that is already in the concreted areas, so that wouldn't be what we're looking for.
I know, but the reason why I'm mentioning it, because something has to happen with those bricks, because it's still gonna be bumps, even if it has that new pavement down.
And make sure to contact Gary. Okay. We'll look into it and report back to infrastructure.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments from council?
I just had one comment. I was surprised when I saw this and I watched the committee meeting that, that the decision had been made to just do Air Street. And didn't seem like anything else was considered, but I talked with Charlie about it and understand that, given the amount of traffic that we do have on Air Street, that we know we have, and given that we do have a good knowledge of what the conditions are there, and so we have a good idea of what we're getting into, that is a reasonable place to start. What I would ask the infrastructure committee is when we're working on the prioritization for work after we have additional information on the roads that Christopher Burke Engineering's putting together, that in addition to road condition for prioritizing work, that we also look at traffic counts on roads and what's the use for those roads, so that we're addressing pavement in the locations where there are a lot of drivers.
If I can address that very quickly, that is one of the factors that's being addressed.
Good.
So in case that wasn't clear before, it's pavers, the pavers rating system, the core samples, and traffic flow.
And how is traffic flow determined?
We have pre-designated roads that are arterial, and then secondary roads, and that's kind of the baseline.
There was a discussion earlier on about using GIS and what is it, McHenry?
Oh, naturally, McHenry
Yeah.
County.
Weren't they going to provide some software capability or something?
That would be for like crowd
Yeah.
discussions for more, or sorry, that would be more for tracking or getting an idea where people are traveling from for an event, not necessarily for traffic flow. So like at Milk Days, we could see how many people are there, kind of generally where they're coming from, but it wouldn't be used for actual traffic flow in the city.
But correct me if I'm wrong, National McHenry County no longer has access to that program, is that not correct?
That is correct. They have a state-issued one.
He's right. The state-issued one isn't as robust, so it can't pinpoint, you can't draw borders around what area you want to study and get the analytics for that area. The state just shows overall in Harvard. And we can talk about it later, but I'd handed out the Harvard marketing report from Naturally McHenry County, which covers some of those numbers that everyone has in front of them, but it does not cover traffic.
My recommendation to the committee is if you really want to know bona fide numbers, then we would need to engage Christopher Burke to do a traffic, basically count of, the various roads that are under consideration. We certainly understand where the primary and secondary roads are, so roads like Northfield Avenue, McKinley Street,
Second.
Second Avenue, Grant. There are certain roads that
Fifth.
have higher traffic than others, so.
On any road that's major, minor, collector, arterial, things like that, that are qualify for STP and federal funding through the STP grants and surface transportation, all that stuff, the IDOT has traffic counts on those. So your Garfields and McKinley's and Ayer Street, Front, Sumner, all of those have traffic counts on them. The smaller sort of side streets would require installation of traffic counters to determine those. But a lot of those, it's going to be, your average daily traffic is going to be less than, say, 250, because anything above that, you're going to start hitting into IDOT's functional road classes and their traffic counters.
But how do they know, how do they know how many cars there are? No one's counting them.
This is stuff that IDOT has very closely. Generally, it's traffic trends, things like that.
I would suggest that, especially a residential road is going to be determined based by the number of residents that live on that street and whether it's a thoroughfare to another location. So if it's a side street, likely the only people utilizing that are the residents that live on that street.
Right. But it would be, I personally think it would be helpful information to understand where so the committee may want to.
Whenever you have a situation like we do where we certainly don't have a lack of choices where to do work. And so, that was one of the reasons Ayer Street was chosen, because we know the importance of Ayer Street. We know something about what's under Ayer Street.
Yeah.
And it is our face to the world, with Milk Days and so on, and it's our showcase. So it made sense in this first year to use some of our 1% money to do that, because everything else is a toss-up. I mean, you could pick anywhere. And you'd make the rest of the people upset because you did pick somewhere. So we came up with this is the best opportunity, and it made more sense today. We'll know a lot more once the study is completed, and then with all that data, we'll be able to make decisions on those where we go next.
And the other thing too with Ayer Street, and I think this is touched on multiple documents, is deferring any surfacing of Ayer Street will lead to reconstruction. Reconstruction, right now the surface is starting to degrade, which is going to allow water and seepage down to the base layers. If we allow that to go any much longer, Gary and I were noodling numbers back and forth, and if we let this go much longer, we could be talking about a 75 to 125% increase in these costs. You could be talking, right now we're talking about a 605 number. We could be talking anywhere from $1 million to 1.3 if we let it go any longer.
Any further comments or questions from council? Any comments from the audience? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Gorman.
Yes.
Perkins.
No.
Luna. Haderlein.
Yes.
Schulz.
Yes.
Lavallee.
Yes.
Carncross.
Yes.
Lancaster.
Yes.
Motion approved, 7-1.
Thank you, clerk. Item number 17 is seeking a motion to approve using MFT, that's motor fuel tax funds, in the 2025 budget for skip patching on additional streets.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
A motion by Perkins, second by Haderlein. Comments or questions here?
I just want to point out for the listening audience, more than anything else, that skip patching is not the same as cold patching, and that this is, you know, I think we had a pretty successful year last year doing skip patching. It's where you go a lot deeper, lasts a lot longer, and if you treat it, it even lasts longer than that. So, but, you know, no one likes cold patching because, you know, it's good for a month. But I think that this is, I just want to let everybody know this is different, and I think it's going to be a pretty successful repair tool, especially in those areas we can't get to with a more permanent solution.
I'd say a good example is a skip patching done on Fifth Street this last year has been holding up quite well and was very needed. More of it needs to be done, obviously, so whatever we can do next year in 2025 is certainly welcomed.
Railroad Street too, on right by the track by the bridge.
I don't know if that's driven that much, though.
No, but it was a lake.
Just going with what we've been talking about, how much driving, which ones need to be done first.
Well, but there are certain locations where I know myself, I just avoid those. It would be the natural way to go, but I go around, so.
All right, any other comments from council? Any comments?
How
Oh.
much was approved in the funds?
$225,000 is the MFT allotment.
For the 225,000, approximately what kind of, I guess, linear feet, or what's the ballpark that,
So
what area you can do?
everything that we know, and I don't have this number offhand, but last year we did about 125, 130,000. This would effectively almost double our capacity, and this would lend itself to areas where, maybe, I don't want to say the less traveled, but, we have situations like Old Orchard, which generally will only affect, Old Orchard, Deer Path, that, like, the sides of Old Orchard. Other areas where it's less overall impactful, but, we have that extra funding to address those areas that we may not be able to get to with the paving program soon, just to sort of, stop the bleeding, to ease, so you don't grimace when you go over that section of road.
Well, I have to say that I was impressed with the program last year. You guys did an excellent job hitting those, especially like Fifth Street. That's in my ward, and that's a street that I use often, and it was probably one of the worst. So it definitely hits those areas, and I agree, this is a great tool to hit some of those streets that, like the one that I live on, not making any recommendations there, but the one that I live on is a connection street between two streets, so it doesn't see a lot of through traffic, but it's also, because of where it's located, it's extraordinarily expensive to repave because it requires breakdown and setup of machinery, and includes a little cul-de-sac, which is even worse. So I know it's an area that would be unlikely to be part of the road program for some time. So this is something that for the other areas in town that people live on, where you have just that little bit of road that's seen no love for a long time, we need to encourage this program for as long as possible. And if we can allot for more money in the future, I would recommend it, because this is a tool we can use to hit those areas and meet those residents in need of that likely won't see a full paving project for a long time.
Right. And I will say that my style is a little different when it comes to marking these out, and that's why you'll see it's either going to be lane width, half lane width. I try not to put joints where tires go, so that way when you do drive on these areas, it's smooth, there's no transition, and it'll last a lot longer. So that's why a lot of those, like Fifth Street was full to double lane width, same with Railroad, and in areas where, Park Point, it was blocks back and forth. So that way you're not driving over a bunch of transitions that'll sink and shift, and so.
My consideration is noted, because when I look at it, it doesn't look like city staff did it. It looks like, a road company came in and repaved. So you guys are doing an excellent job, considering this is just one of the many things that you just do.
Well, I should specify, for the skip patching, this is done by a road crew, but we just select the areas and mark them and get everything ready, yeah.
Yeah, but this isn't like a normal road program. This is just you guys getting in there and setting this up.
I appreciate that.
It's noted.
If I can just add in very quickly, and again, it's more for our viewers, what you're saying between the last item and this one is the questions that have been out there is using the 1% that was already approved to start advancing our road projects. You're seeing that here tonight. You've seen the Air Street will be resurfaced, and that allows us to shift the MFT funds towards at least slowing down or stopping, in some cases, the further deterioration of our existing roads until we can come back and replace that. That's all part of the master plan that's coming out later this year. Thank you.
Any other comments from council? Any comments from the audience? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Perkins?
Yes.
Luna? Yes. Haderlein?
Yes.
Schulz?
Yes.
Lavallee?
Yes.
Carncross?
Yes.
Lancaster?
Yes.
Gorman?
Yes.
All ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 18, seeking your motion to adopt the proposed ordinance implementing a non-home rule for municipal occupational tax and a non-home rule for municipal service occupation tax. This is essentially to replace the grocery tax that the state took away.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And the state, they're taking it away effective next January?
January of 2026.
2026, so, okay, so we need to, if we want to keep that,
Right.
we need to,
So in summary, what it does is, as according to state statute, the 1%, the tax, the grocery tax in January 1 of 2026 goes away. This actually reinstitutes that.
thank you.
Any other comments from council?
Just for the public, if they wondering why we're adding this 1% back, it's mostly because a lot of this money comes back to municipalities. It wasn't really much of the state that was getting it. It gets funded back to us. So it's a lot of money that would be coming out of our budget that if we didn't pass this.
Any comments from the audience?
And just to emphasize what Matt said, I mean, it's great, that the state can come in and say, yeah, we're cutting your taxes on your groceries, and that's great. Other states don't tax groceries, but that creates a huge deficit for a lot of communities. And so there's nothing that came along with that replaces those funds. So, so unfortunately,
Lisa,
we really need it.
a lot of other communities are doing the same thing we're doing, are they not?
Exactly. Yeah,
That is correct.
exactly.
Almost everybody.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not aware of a community that is not.
Right. That's saying, oh yeah, we don't need that 1%. Yeah. It's goofy.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderwoman Luna?
Yes.
Haderlein?
Yes.
Schulz?
Yes.
Lavallee?
Yes.
Carncross?
Yes.
Lancaster?
Yes.
Gorman? Perkins?
Yes.
All ayes, motion carries. Ordinance 2025-105.
All right, thank you, clerk. Item number 19, is the Administration Committee's recommendation to surplus property, which includes iPhones, a 2006 Chevrolet Silverado 1500, a 1997 John Deere 410 tractor, or backhoe, I guess it is, and then an Avon Technical Products face pieces.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Perkins, second by Haderlein. Any comments or questions here? Comments from the audience? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderwoman Haderlein?
Yes.
Schulz?
Yes.
Lavallee?
Yes.
Carncross?
Yes.
Lancaster?
Yes.
Gorman?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Luna? Yes. All ayes, motion carries. Ordinance 2025-106.
Thank you, clerk. Item number 20 is the Parks and Recreation Board recommendation to increase daily pool pass rates for 2025, seeking a motion to approve increasing daily pool pass rates by $1 for the 2025 pool season.
Motion to approve.
I second.
A motion by Schulz, second by Luna. Any comments or questions here?
Open for a hot summer.
Hot summer, all right. Any comments from the audience? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Schulz?
Yes.
Lavallee?
Yes.
Carncross?
Yes.
Lancaster?
Yes.
Gorman?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Heiliger?
Yes.
All ayes, motion carries.
Thank you, clerk. Item number 21 is the Parks and Recreation Board recommendation to declare the Shadow Creek Park South surplus property. Seeking your motion to declare Shadow Creek Park South surplus property, dividing it into parcels and have it sold via auction with a minimum bid of $10,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Carncross, second by Schulz. Any comments from the council?
Clarification that it's a minimum bid of $10,000 each lot, not $10,000 for the two lots. Also, I will be voting against this, and I think most folks have heard my concerns, but just for the record, for the public, I have three concerns with doing this. The first being that I just have a fundamental objection to the city selling off park space, parkland. I just don't agree with that. I think it's a bad precedent. I also especially do not agree with the city selling off parkland to compete with the private sector in terms of home sites, then now being on the market. There are a large number of undeveloped home sites in Harvard, and I object to the city contributing, to the market, to the depressed market. Maybe it's not so depressed anymore, but I just don't see it being the city's business. And then I also am still concerned that even though we didn't have to reach out to the residents about this, that we did not reach out to the residents about this before making the decision. So for those reasons, I will be voting no. Thank you.
Any other comments from council?
So my understanding is there's still going to be, 20 feet in between these two lots that is still our property, the city's property, that goes to the back, to the pond, and then in the back is our property.
Correct, there'll be a 20-foot right-of-way.
20 foot, okay. So I understand Lisa's thing, and I guess I forgot to bring this up earlier, but my only concern is, I guess if we vote for this and it goes through, is what would say, a few years from now, we decide to say, hey, we're going to sell this lot for you guys for $1, just to get rid of that, so we don't have any access to this pond for the public, the whole community to go fish on.
Well, first off, you're right. Technically, the city could offer property up for $1, but that's why we put a minimum bid so that we don't compete as much out there in the open market. The other thing is that would be a decision for the admin or the Parks Committee, Parks and Rec Committee, and the council in the future to decide. So I can't tell you yes or no, that may happen. I know as far as staff, we would strongly discourage that. And then the one thing, while I have a moment, the one thing I did want to say is that one of the things that we've instituted since I've got here is anytime we sell city property off like this, that we have a clawback attachment so that people don't purchase the land just for investment and hope it goes up in value down the road. It's encouraging, where the whole point of selling the property is to encourage development of that parcel that eventually returns to the city taxable income.
So what is that specific clawback provision with this?
I just want to add that finally, that 20-foot strip has a city storm sewer running through it.
Right.
So we can never give up that utility easement. But like we did with the home on Grant Street, you'd have, after purchase, so many months to build.
Typically between 6 months to 12 months.
Thank you.
I think Matt is referring to what we did in Park Point, where we sold the bottom base of the lots that were on the retention pond. That's what he's referring to. And obviously, that 20-foot piece where the drainage is going could not be sold, but what he's saying is a city council in the future could say, let's get rid of the rest of those. The only issue with us doing that is how do we access the other side of that lake to maintain it? No, I don't think we could ever really sell those because we can't access the other side of the lake to cut the grass. It would be overgrown and,
Right, and that's again where staff would advise not doing that for that same particular reason. And unfortunately, we now have experience as far as what was done in the past to help discourage that, because you're right. We do still have to maintain it, and because that whole retention pond has been turned over to city property, we do have to make sure that the shoreline and stuff is kept up to par. So we would strongly, I can speak on behalf of at least this current staff, we would strongly discourage that because we still need to have access.
Any other comments from council? Any comments from the public? Hear none, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Lavallee,
Yes.
Carncross,
Yes.
Lancaster,
No.
Gorman,
Yes.
Perkins,
No.
Luna,
Yes.
Haderlein,
No.
Schulz.
yes.
Motion approved 5-3.
Thank you, clerk.
And that is ordinance 2025-107.
Thank you, clerk, for that. Item number 22 is discussion on policy for elected officials and staff interaction. Asked to put this agenda item on the item on the agenda just to kind of clarify for city council and elected officials and city staff, specifically our department heads. I just want to clarify, there's been some emails have been bouncing around and just wanted to kind of set the stage on how those interactions should take place. I should say that all council members should have access to city staff, to department heads, especially when you're seeking information about what's happening within that particular department. I think it's very important, especially for the committees that you sit on that tend to have cognizance over the areas that those departments oversee. And so to be prepared for meetings and be prepared to speak to constituents and formulate informed opinions about the business matters before you, you should have access to speak to the subject matter experts. That's the department heads. And so they're the ones who control those departments and would have the most up-to-date knowledge base about what's happening within those departments. So you should have the opportunity to speak to them. My recommendation to you would be to make an appointment with the department head so that they can schedule their time within their schedule, because they all have active work that they're going on through the day. Where if you are seeking to create action for the department heads, in those cases, those should be funneled through the city administrator, so that the city administrator can help create whatever action is being requested, and that should funnel through him, simply because while each department head does have access and control over their departments, there may be interdepartmental issues that the city administrator has more in-depth knowledge about that the department heads might not necessarily know about. So I'm simply asking, if you're seeking action from a department head, please funnel those through the city administrator. You can certainly contact the department heads by email, by voicemail, by phone. You can stop by their office. If you do email them, please copy the city administrator so that he is in the know of what's business that you're discussing. That way, he's not caught unprepared when I ask him, hey, what's going on with this? And so as the person who runs the day-to-day activities of the city, and that's his responsibilities, simple courtesy of including him in on those correspondences with department heads is all that we're asking. So any questions on that?
Does this need to be in a policy statement of some sort, or?
That's a good question, Alderman. We can certainly create a written policy that we can promulgate to elected officials and to the city staff if you feel that's necessary. But I think if we're all in agreement of those kind of very baseline rules, then we should be able to eliminate a lot of the friction that's happened here recently.
It seems to me that this should go to the admin committee for further discussion so that we can participate in the policy making. That's what we're supposed to do.
I leave that to the chairperson if she would like to bring that to her agenda.
Sure, in March. In the March meeting, we can put that on the agenda.
I would just add, as co-chair, my opinion on the matter. I have no objection to discussing it in the admin committee. I don't believe that a firmly written policy in the handbook would be necessary at this point. I think something as simple as just directing staff that should someone from city council request an action of someone of, department head or below, that they are empowered to respond respectfully with the note that they, either that it should be directed to the city administrator or that they will refer it to the city administrator, the request to then be disseminated back. Because as long as I've been here, I understand that city staff is very respectful of these roles that we're in, and that often they feel, I don't want to use the word intimidated, but they feel that it's their duty to respond and act right away because of their respect for the position, and in doing so can create conflict because they feel compelled to do it. And I think that if we empower them, that they have the ability to respectfully decline to take action at that moment, and that it should go to the city administrator. I think that should be enough. But if it isn't, then we can always work on an official hard policy at that point. That's just where I would go with it.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for kicking off the meeting, Dan.
It's in March.
I wanted to get that opinion out in the event that, should this be reconsidered, we can strike it from the agenda if necessary. I'm saying if we want to discuss it, fine. I don't think it's necessary to put it on there, but I'm not going to say no.
Well, it's not, this isn't about just, I understand the chain of command, and I firmly believe in it as well. I also understand that that's not the only thing that has been turned off in communications. Just asking questions has been turned off.
And that's what I'm stating, that's been remedied because the city administrator and I have had a meeting about that, and you should have access to the subject matter experts.
But I just think that staff and elected officials, if they had some guidelines that kind of pointed in the right direction of what is and what isn't, and how it should be reported, would be a good thing. Because otherwise, we're just going to guess.
I think that's perfectly acceptable to have those guidelines in a written manner, especially as we're going to have new council members here very soon in the
That's
future.
true.
Yeah.
They're going to.
So let's bring this up, Chairwoman will have that decision, but let's bring this up if it gets brought up in the admin instead of discussing further in this one.
Right, in March. We do the budget in February, so March.
I do just want to get an understanding, because I talked to Lisa about this after she was part of your meeting. I'd like to understand that if I have a question for Rob or Donavan, and I just happen to see them on the street and say, hey, what's the status on X? Are they required to tell you that they saw me and talked to me, Lou? Are you wanting them to tell you that?
So all I've asked in the past is that when emails are sent around, to please CC me.
Sure.
No different than-
I sent you and
Right.
Stacy an email the other day, yeah.
Correct. And actually, you've been very good about it. I know you've come to see both Donavan, and from time to time, you stop by my office just to say, hey.
Yep.
That's all I'm asking. That's all I've ever asked in
Right.
all this, is just include me, because what ends up happening is, and staff knows now to make sure that I'm informed, only so that we make sure that whatever is going to affect the police department doesn't affect code enforcement.
Right.
And because part of my job is that coordination. If they feel that they do not have to let me know, then, and they're kind of insisted upon, what ends up happening is we have a breakdown in everything. And the last thing we want to do is waste taxpayer dollars because we have to reinvent the wheel over something that just a CC and an email would have settled.
Well, I'm simply, because typically I like to do face-to-face conversations. So, and typically my questions are, because I understand the chain of command here. My job is not to tell them what to do or to request that they do something. If I did, I would be going to you saying, hey, I need to get with Rob because I would like to see this prioritized. If I'm going to Rob and saying, hey, Rob, what's the status on this repair on my street? I don't see a logical reason why he needs to tell you, hey, Jay, stop by to tell me this. If a private citizen, and I am a private citizen, I am a taxpayer in this community, if I stop by Rob and I say, what's going on with this? Not asking for a priority, not asking to do anything, does Rob have to tell you that he talked to a private citizen? Because that's what I am. I'm a private, I understand I'm an alderman, I'm a taxpayer, and there's no harm in that question, and it's not, I don't see how it would affect any other department. What's the status?
And to answer your question, and maybe I wasn't very clear the last time, is, as the mayor indicated, if there's discussions as far as trying to create policy, or that's when they're supposed to let me know.
Sure, I get that.
I'm not prohibiting at all, and anybody, including the normal, the everyday citizen, from reaching out. It happens all the time. I let you all know when I've talked to citizens. I'm not asking them to do it. Now, sometimes they do if they foresee this eventually developing into a problem, particularly like code enforcement. To at least let me aware of it, that I might get a phone call.
I'm just trying to prevent making extra work for them. Because I'm inquisitive.
By no means
I like to ask,
Right.
hey, what's the status? Because people ask these questions of us, so, and I appreciate your answer, and I absolutely agree 100% that any actions that we are requesting of them should go through you.
Right. And the only thing I just, and because it's kind of like nails on the chalkboard, just for me, is it's not a chain of command, it's just chain of management.
Okay.
Chain of command sounds like it's a dictatorship.
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
And
I
that's
was
not what's going
imitating
on.
Charlie.
It's chain of management.
Right.
I'm using his words. That was in.
No, I think the last email I did correct myself, because I attended a training class, and they referred to that, don't refer to it as a chain of command. That sounds like a dictatorship.
All right, any other comments or questions here? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 23, and that's a strategic vision review. Is there any items on the strategic vision that the city council wishes to discuss this evening?
We had been discussing, I think, in one of the committee meetings about potentially scheduling a committee of the whole to go over this, especially since this, several of us are going to be outgoing, and then we're going to have some new city council members coming in, so it might be a good idea to review this before it goes outgoing, make sure we've got a good handing off place.
I'm intending to call committee of the whole in March.
Okay.
Once we get past the budgeting process, which will also kind of help us understand priorities for strategic vision in the next year based on the budget that you guys kind of have preliminary approved in the administration committee in February 15th, I believe, right? Yes. So.
Can I say that from now on, we should refer to that as calling a cow? Right? We want a cow.
That's right.
It's certainly abbreviated that way.
Committee of the whole. We're going to have a cow.
Any other comments here? All right, we'll go on to staff monthly reports. Let's start on this side. Chief?
I just have one thing other than my report, Mayor. It was put out on social media, as well as in the newsletter, but in case you don't have any of it, we were proud to announce that the Harvard Police Department has been honored with the prestigious 2024 Officer Station Design Award by Officer Magazine. This recognition celebrates innovation, functionality, and community-centered design in law enforcement facilities, i.e. the new police department and community hall. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who played a role in this achievement, from the architects and designers to our incredible community members who inspired this vision. This award represents more than just a building. It symbolizes our commitment to safety, service, and collaboration with the people we serve. And lastly, here's to a brighter future, brighter, safer, and more innovative future together. We also did get a plaque for the award, which I will show you here in a second. This will be displayed. If you want to just tell them where it's going to go.
It's going to be like up front.
In front
entrance.
When you first walk into the building. Other than that, that's all I got.
All right, I'm quite proud of that, actually, I'll just, for the members of the audience as well as those of the council that don't know, when I first became mayor and we kind of toured the old police station and saw the kind of dilapidated condition it was in, and really made a promise to our police department, like, we're gonna fix this. We're gonna build something. No one believed it. The police department did not believe it, because we had officers who literally started with the department and were told we're going to build a new police station, and have retired from the police department, having never got any closer to building a police station. So it was definitely a monumental effort by council, by staff, and by our community to support the idea. And that's why we're meeting in this room today. So thank you very much and congratulations. I did want to make a note about Alderwoman Haderlein's request for updating the community concerning police activity within the community. And so what we will be doing is publicizing the police report, the chief's report that he puts out each month, which actually shows all the various activities that are happening. It's in your packet. It is published each month, but we will now be sharing that to social media. Okay, who's next? Parks, Stacy.
I only have a couple extra things that are not on the report. The first one is we received our first check for ad sponsorship for the activity guide this week, so that's very exciting. So thank you, Sauk Valley Bank. And then also last week, I attended the IPRA, the Illinois Parks and Recreation Association conference in Chicago, and I learned a lot of great sessions, some networking opportunities. So I'm very grateful that I was able to go, and I'm very excited to go again next year. That's really all I've got.
All right, thank you. Rob? Been a very busy month.
Thank you for everybody's understanding and support, not only the residents, but administration and this body. If you say it 3 times, it happens. Main break, main break, main break. There would be things flying at me if said in the Public Works office, but overall, business as usual for us, just trying to get some stuff taken care of here and there in between snow and main breaks. Hopefully with the weather coming back around, we'll see a dip in that. But it would be nice not to keep going warm, cold, warm, cold, warm, cold. Not helping us out at all. But the biggest thing overall, residents were great. Support from other departments. I know at one point in time I was getting ready to hit the panic button, and Mike's department, the utility division, was really ready to lend us a hand. Fortunately, we didn't need to, but they were there if we needed it. So big thank you to everybody, and appreciate the understanding and the collaboration.
All
I
right,
got
thank
a
you.
quick question, sorry, and I forgot to bring this up in the committee meeting, and then I forgot to ask Lou when I talked to him yesterday. Because it was brought up, and I know from airport to 23 from Ringo Road, what is the timeline on that now? Because I heard it got pushed back some when it
So
kind of got brought up in the committee, but really didn't say what it was.
right now, we're in the preliminary steps of, we identified the next place, so we're doing Marengo Road south of airport. Then we have Diggins and Front going up, or Diggins and Sumner. Marengo Road's the next round of funding we're going to apply for. So we have to see if we're going to get approval for that and carry that forward. But that's,
I thought we were ahead of funded.
it's the phase one engineering
Wow, I thought we had phase 2 and all that funded.
for,
Ringo Road from the airport to 23, I thought all that was, I was just waiting for the money.
no, it's,
We're in phase 2.
okay.
That'll be in the budget as well.
Okay, so we're not delayed on that than what they were talking about? No. Okay. With that in the bridge part of Marengo Road, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It's still aligning, hopefully.
Yeah, bridge is delayed. Construction.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Mike, Utility Department.
The only thing I have is, we've been steadily working to build up our lead and copper test site list. There were some changes made to the law back in October. We used to have to get 20 samples every 3 years to prove that our corrosion control system is working. We now have to get 40 every 6 months. And we had to start from zero with the list. We couldn't use our old list, so we have to. So a couple of you are going to get some phone calls from me because your houses fit the profile of what we need to get sampling done at. We've also had a lot of residents who, several residents who've expressed concern of, is this legit? Are you for real? This is something that we're required to do, and we are working through getting that list put together so I can submit it to EPA for approval. So thanks for any help you can give me on that.
All right, thank you. Ann?
In addition to my report being submitted, you all have my property maintenance book of before and afters and some with citations. Just interesting read for you. Looking forward to the spring where I can get back out there and get some more for next year.
Yeah, I was thinking this, when I saw this, I'm like, oh, that's why there weren't many tags in December. Because everything's done.
That's right.
Okay, Donavan?
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Update on Starbucks. They anticipate opening in July. We don't have an exact date yet, of course. DeLong Car Wash, they've been delayed by IDOT, waiting for approvals from IDOT before they can finish out that last concrete pour. Once they have those approvals, they anticipate being completed within 3 weeks of that approval. They sent their last set of plans to them. IDOT got back to them, said, we need more copies because everything's by paper. So they rushed out several more copies for them, and now they're waiting for that final approval. We received the first draft of the downtown TIF eligibility report from Teskin Associates, and that's being reviewed internally. There's already some corrections or additions that need to be made, and then we anticipate having that discussion with the Community Development Committee in the future. Naturally, McHenry County, like we discussed earlier, you have the 2024 marketing report in front of you. And within that report, some impressive numbers that they've helped out with. They had 54 social media posts featuring Harvard businesses and events, approximately 8,000 engagements on those posts, 336,000 page views featuring Harvard businesses and events. The top Harvard pages were Tacos, Tamales, and Tortas Tour, which if you haven't done that, please do. Harvard in general, and then Harvard Milk Days. And then we go to the second page. What stuck out to me is that bottom number there, the value of investment. We spent $15,000 on them, and with all their marketing efforts, that comes out to around $64,000. So a good 27-ish% ROI on our investment, which is great. And then the final page there, which we had talked about, some of those numbers of people within a 50-mile radius coming to Harvard. What stuck out to me was August was our month with the most visits, which didn't make sense to me. And I wasn't sure if that had to, if IDOT construction was going on in August on 14, because that would slow people down and they would get tracked as a visitor instead of just driving through. Yeah. So I got to get some information on that, why that's so high. But August was a popular month in Harvard, apparently. Rush Creek. Yeah. And then you can see that majority of the trips people took, they were from Chicago and then second place Milwaukee, which was interesting too. So that's that. And then also in front of you, and I have some back here as well, if you want to read it twice, is the 2025 Insider Guide from Naturally McHenry County. What was very heartwarming in that is how many times Harvard is mentioned in there. They made a lot of mentions of Harvard on a lot of those pages, so that was nice to see. That goes out to the entire county and then across the region outside of McHenry County. So another fun fact about 2024 is we had 57 new homes, mostly thanks to these two builders over here, which is the most Harvard has had in decades. And we anticipate a little bit less than that this year, but still impressive numbers. And that's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you.
Donovan, quick question. Any update on the people that bought bunks? Any progress with that?
Yeah, so the people that bought it, they are construction workers. So they're looking to partner with a restaurant management team that can help them run the day-to-day operations. They're getting close to finalizing that deal with a management team. It is someone local. It's not signed yet, but they're getting close, so we should know within the next few weeks, and once that's done, we'll know when their opening date will be.
Is it the rumor that is on the 401?
That it's what?
Is it the rumor on 401 that everyone's talking about?
I'm not sure.
The person that they'll be signing with?
Oh, Nico's?
Yeah.
No.
I just see the open signs always open when I drive past. I want
No.
to pull in there, but no one's in there.
It's not them, and it's really hard not to comment on some of those. If
Yeah.
maybe I can send that information to people that could comment for me, that'd be great. But
Okay.
no, it's not Nico's Red Mill.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll go with committee reports and start on this side. Lori, you have anything for the council tonight?
Nothing other than I'm glad we voted and spoke about the Illinois Trust Act earlier today, because I think it's important for our community to understand that they are safe and they are welcomed here.
All right, thank you. Charlie?
Looks like we're going to have a committee meeting on the 10th. And do you want to say anything about what, anything special about what you're going to give us on the 10th?
Well, one of the things that we're trying to draft or get a draft on is an IGA for the sidewalk, the bike path along 173. This would be a county project that the city will actually manage.
This is new?
No, we've talked about it before.
This is from Rush Creek to
yeah.
214.
Is there any way we can move that one? Because I'll be working that day.
Well, that's up to the
Well,
chairperson.
I can move it to almost any time, but what about the rest of the committee?
12th then, that Wednesday you're working?
No.
I mean, I could do that day too.
At 6:30?
John?
Yeah, I could do the 12th.
Okay, that works.
Okay.
Administrator will also have the capital improvement projects to discuss from the sewer water money market fund, and we'll have information on that out to you within ample time to read it over before the meeting.
Thanks for the reminder.
Anything
Thank
further?
you. Oh, that's it.
Okay. Matt?
Nothing further, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Rosa?
No, nothing.
All right. Lisa?
Reminder that the admin committee meeting will be on Saturday, February 15th, here. Do we start at 8? At 8, I'll bring donuts. There will be coffee. And then there will be pizza for lunch, I believe, and we should be done by 3? Okay. It's a long day.
It'll be a very busy day, so
Yes.
we're going to try and stay
Yes.
on task.
Yes, and the budget, well, it's such an important meeting, so it's the heart of what we're going to be doing for the coming year. So, yay. I did want to just quickly say thank you to the mayor and administration and Chief Bauman for putting together, working with TJ, putting together the resolution regarding the Illinois Trust Act, and also for the council in supporting that unanimously. I agree with Lori. I think it's important for our residents to know where we stand. So, thank you.
All right, thank you. Jay?
A couple things not city related. I want to give a shout out to some of the high school students. Adam Cook, who's a senior, he scored he's got 1,000 points now in his career. He's the first, I've been covering Harvard sports since 2009, and he's the first in that time to do that. And then the girls' basketball team has 12 wins, and I think when Casey Seiler was the coach back in 2005 was the last time they had 10 wins. So they've been awful, and they've had a great year. 12 wins is amazing. 3 times in a row they've had 3 wins in a row. So unfortunately, they cannot slay the giant. Marengo just killed them, but other than that, they've had a really great year. So congratulations to them. I know their season's going on. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. John?
I just wanted to say that I'm really excited to get going on that on the road program with our new money. I think the residents are really going to see, in the next 5 years, you're going to see more work than you've seen in the last probably 20 years. I'm guessing. Don't hold me to it. But
Say that's probably pretty accurate.
But it's
Or pretty
I think
close.
it's going to be a really exciting time for Harvard, and I'm really looking forward to getting air buttoned up. IDOT took care of it for us on one end, and we did the other end last year, and it's going to be a nice place to hold a parade next year.
All right, John, thank you. Dan?
Couple things. I wanted to say specifically to City Public Works, your social media activity has been fantastic. I think it has really contributed to a more positive sentiment to the city because in general, when we used to see the water main breaks and we used to see the other issues and stuff, there was a lot of negativity coming back to that, saying basically just criticizing the city, saying, what are you doing, all this money we pay, et cetera, whatever. I don't see that anymore. And I really appreciate that you lend a level of humor to it, but you also show the people what you're doing. You guys are out there in that freezing cold, miserable, doing the work, and your little bit of levity that you've put into that, I think goes a huge mile and really humanizes what you guys do for the community. So I appreciate that. The other thing is I just wanted to kind of tag along with the sentiment on the resolution. It's something that sticks out to me and is very near and dear to my heart as far as people and how they're treated and how they're thought of in the community. Regardless of what their situation is, these are people. They have feelings, they have children. Small children that don't understand what the situation is or what is going on. And I think that if we consider the people themselves and not the politics of the argument on either side, and also bearing in mind that our police department is there to enforce the laws of our state and our community. They are not there to decide what they feel they want to enforce. There's times where they have to take action in situations where they would much rather not, because they have to come down harsher on people than maybe they empathize with in this situation. So I appreciate the police department partnering on that to emphasize their consideration as well, and that not entering into a political argument either way shows communities around us that we have respect for ourselves and that we're not going to create an environment where people can be negative and nasty, because they feel like they have the ability to do so. So I appreciate you bringing that to the city council. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to treasurer's report.
Reports in the packet, Mayor, real quick. I just want to piggyback off what you said. I was researching something that you and Lou asked me to do after the budget meeting we had last week, and I found minutes from 2003, 2004 from the Finance Committee, and in those minutes, they talked about the desperate need to build a new police department and how that should be done sooner rather than later. So apparently that was later, but about 20 years later. So it's been a long time. So, thanks.
Yeah, I think Tyson was still in high school, right?
Well, that monkey's off our back, so that's a good thing. Attorney's report.
No report at this time. I'll save most of my report for closed session.
All right, thank you. Administrator's report.
There's just a couple of things I wanted to bring up. First, there was a question, and this just came in today. The walk path, bike path, technical assistance grant to develop a master plan is now officially back on. They have secured a vendor to help guide that along. We also, along that same vein, we had applied for a site readiness grant to help develop some land towards the southwest end of town. That grant is $179,000. We have officially won that grant. The city will be, out of that, it's a reimbursement grant of $144,000. So of that, the city has about a $35,000 cost. And then there was a particular announcement I'm not going to look up because I'm a little overwhelmed when I read about it this morning. And it really goes out to the staff, and the staff's very well aware of this situation. I was informed by Shaw Media that the city of Harvard is rated the best place to work in all of McHenry County. And I kind of take that to heart because we've done a lot in the last 2 years. And I really thank you guys for that. We weren't rated the best in our category. We were rated the best in all of McHenry County, private and public. And that's something that we've never achieved before. So, thank you, everybody.
All right, clerk's report.
Upcoming meeting dates, Mayor. February 4th, regular Planning and Zoning Commission meeting will be canceled due to a lack of agenda items. Tree Board meets Wednesday, February 5th at 6:30 p.m. Police Pension Fund Board meets on Thursday the 6th at 7:30 a.m. Community and Economic Development meets Tuesday the 11th at 6:30 p.m. Infrastructure meets Wednesday the 12th at 6:30 p.m. The Admin Budget Workshop is Saturday the 15th, starting at 8 a.m., and that replaces the regularly scheduled Admin Committee meeting of the 19th. Parks and Rec of the 17th was rescheduled to the 18th, as the 17th is President's Day. City Council meets on the 25th at 7 p.m. Only other thing I have, the McHenry County Clerk's Office will be sending you all your statement of economic interest probably early next week. Generally, they do it February 1st, so the filing deadline on that is May 1st.
If we're leaving, we don't have to do it, right?
Yeah, we still have to do it.
Do we really?
Yeah, because we're in office from January through April, so yeah, Jay, you still have to fill it out.
One more right now.
One more, and that is all I have, Mike.
All right, thank you. And they will continuously send you emails if you don't do it.
They will also fine you if you don't.
Yes.
They threaten you with jail. They don't play around.
So,
Why don't you tempt them, see what happens?
Nothing changes. I don't understand. Can I just check a box? Nothing's changed.
tonight for the mayor's report, I just simply want to state that there are a lot of things going forward in this new year. And as Lisa pointed out, the budgeting workshop that takes place on February 15th really is the heart and soul and the single most important duty that the city council has, and that is determining, how taxpayers' money is going to be spent and provide the services to our community. So I appreciate all of those that can make it to that workshop, It is under the admin committee, but I certainly recommend that all city council members attend if they are able to. And of course, our staff will be there to support their particular department asks for next year's budget. So we're really looking forward to that. Not looking forward to the long hours to put in, but, you know, it is a very informative meeting, not only for city council, but also for our staff and anyone that attends.
And there will be donuts and pizza, so, you know, we try to soften the pain.
Oh, you had me on donuts. We just might have the whole police department.
I'm sure they'll get the leftovers.
Wow, I'm sure they will.
Buy an extra box.
Okay, at this time, we're going to move into closed session, so I need to ask all those in the chamber to leave. Yes, we should take a motion to move into closed session.
I'll move that we go into closed session to discuss litigation.
Second.
And just to clarify, that's pursuant to section 2C11.
Pursuant to section 2C11 litigation.
I second the motion.
So we have a motion by Haderlein and a second by Carncross. Clerk, call the roll.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, I will, clerk, call the roll.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, we're back now in open session. Item 33 is open session action regarding the closed section, section 2C11 litigation. Seeking a motion basically to put the issue for consideration on next city council agenda.
Yeah, make a motion to put the issue on the February city council agenda for a vote.
Second.
So I have a motion by Haderlein, second by Perkins. You guys gotta get faster, quicker. Any comments, questions? No? Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Gorman?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Luna?
Yes.
Haderlein?
Yes.
Schulz?
Yes.
Lavallee?
Yes.
Carncross?
Yes.
Lancaster?
Yes.
All ayes, motion carries.
All right, thank you. I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I got a Perkins and Lancaster.
Yes.
Clerk, call the roll.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All
I
right.
don't think you got some baseball
you,
cards here.
and
I got
good
a
night.
Perkins and a Lancaster. You got a Jay Johnston and a Ivan DeJesus for me?